Could Tyreek Hill be making a return to Kansas City after the injury to Rashee Rice? We will examine the latest trade rumors on the Miami Dolphins wide receiver coming up in just a matter of moments. Tyler Jones here with you. Thanks for joining us here on the Chiefs Report today. Folks, we are getting very, very close to 59,000 subscribers on the channel, less than 500 away, just over 400 from reaching that next milestone. For daily coverage you won't find anywhere else, in addition to our live shows we do on Tuesdays, our watch parties on game days, Q&A mailbags, breaking news, and more. It's all right here on the Kansas City Chiefs Report. You ain't alive if you ain't subscribed. If you're a real member of the Chiefs Kingdom, you got to be subbed to the Chiefs Report. YouTube.com/ChiefsTV for the latest happenings on your Kansas City Chiefs all year long. And we'll get started with today's show. Could Tyreek Hill make a return to KC? How likely is it? Is it in the cards for the Kansas City Chiefs to even pull off at this point? Tyreek Hill has had a very good tenure in Miami, but he's missed out on 2 Super Bowl rings that the Chiefs have picked up since he left town. And with the way the Dolphins season is going, downhill quickly, while the Chiefs are sitting here with an undefeated record, but very injury-riddled, does a reunion between these two parties make sense? A lot of rumblings going on about this possibility. Let's start with this from Athlon Sports' Zachary Neal. For the Chiefs, it could be a championship-caliber trade. Kansas City is trying to make NFL history this year, going for their 3rd straight Super Bowl win. After a 4-0 start to the season, it's clear that they have the offensive firepower to get back to the mountaintop. But without Rashee Rice playing for the foreseeable future and potentially the rest of the season, it could be time that they make a move. Here's the reality for the Kansas City Chiefs, and we're going to go over all the financials and how things stack up in just a moment. This is a pipe dream. Now, not saying that Brett Veach and Andy Reid can't work a little magic potentially, but at least for now, we are a long ways off from this being a possibility at the moment. Let's just start with the draft compensation it would take to pull this off before we even talk about the money situation. DraftKings had this trade proposal they put out there where the Chiefs get Tyreek Hill back in exchange for giving up a 1st-round pick in 2025, a 4th-round pick in 2025, and a 6th-round pick in 2026. That is a lot to give up for one of the best receivers in football. But that's not all when it comes down to what this would take. Here's what you need to know. With Miami, if they trade Tyreek Hill now, they would still take on a near $42 million cap hit in 2025. So that doesn't look great for the Dolphins, where they're still going to have to pay Tyreek Hill whether he's on their roster or not. And think about this. Hill next season would still be owed $24 million based on how many games he's played. So not only would the Dolphins, even if they depart from him, have to take that big hit, but still have to pay him, that's a lot of money. Now, when it comes to this year's situation of why the Dolphins potentially could want to move on from Tyreek Hill, their season is going downhill quickly. Their quarterback, Tua Tagovailoa, suffered that concussion against the Buffalo Bills. He's not expected to return until at least week 8. And this season is falling apart quickly for the Miami Dolphins. So, with that in mind, when the trade deadline gets here, if they're out of contention, they could be sellers looking to move on from some of their more higher-priced players like Tyreek Hill potentially. Now, Tyreek Hill, if you recall, on Monday night, when the Miami Dolphins lost to the Tennessee Titans, one of the worst teams in the league, Hill was visibly upset. He doesn't seem happy with the situation there in Miami right now. And his cap hit for this year is about $18.27 million. Now, of that 18, obviously the Dolphins have already paid some of that money. So if the Chiefs were to take him on now, they wouldn't take on the entire cap hit. But when you look at the Chiefs' cap space, it's the same problem that they had when they moved on from him the first time. The money just isn't there at the moment. Now, granted, you could move some money around when you talk about giving some extensions and restructuring some players. But at the moment, the Chiefs only have about $5 million in cap space. Even if the Chiefs wanted to bring in Tyreek Hill, the financial implications simply don't work for either side involved. Not saying that things can't change and they can't move some money around, but at least at the surface level, this doesn't add up. As Dave Ramsey says, you got to make the money work for you. Well, in this case, the money's not working for either side to pull off this trade at the moment. Should the Chiefs trade for Tyreek Hill? It's our pinned comment today. Weigh in, let us know what you think. Type T for trade, P for pass. Let me know if you think they should bring in Tyreek or not. Today's show is sponsored by Game Time. Game Time is the place to go for the best seats, the lowest prices guaranteed. Whether you're looking for tickets to sporting events like your Kansas City Chiefs, maybe you want to see them on Monday night, maybe you want to go to a Kansas City Royals playoff game, whatever it is, they have the prices listed when you select an event. Then you choose your seat, see if you like that seat or not, and then you're checking out with Apple Pay, Google Pay, Venmo, all major credit card providers. Game Time has a new feature called Game Time Picks that makes getting tickets to see your favorite teams play live even easier. Game Time Picks filters out the fluff to show you only incredible deals and great seats. You don't have to waste time searching through thousands of tickets. Your purchase is covered with the most flexible customer service policy in the ticketing industry. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code CHATSPORTS for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code CHATSPORTS for $20 off. Download Game Time today. What time is it? Game Time. The link is in the comments and the description of today's video. When it comes to Tyreek Hill, you're not going to find a receiver in the National Football League with a better resume than Tyreek Hill. He is a future first-ballot Hall of Famer, an 8-time Pro Bowler, a 5-team first-team All-Pro. Also was on the NFL's 2010s All-Decade team, won a Super Bowl with Kansas City just last season. Led the league in receiving yards and was the co-leader in receiving touchdowns as well. By saying no to a trade to Tyreek Hill, it's not an indictment at all on Tyreek Hill's talent level. Tyreek Hill would be a huge impact player and a difference maker for this Kansas City Chiefs team, obviously. Nobody's denying that. But with what it would take to get this done, it just doesn't add up with where the Chiefs are at and where the Dolphins are at. This is not a knock on Tyreek Hill at all. You look at the statistics, he's just been outstanding, right? Last year, nearly 1,800 yards, 13 touchdowns. The year prior to that, 1,700 yards, 7 touchdowns. And there was a big question mark about Tyreek Hill when he left Kansas City. Was he a product of the system in KC? Could he still be an elite receiver playing with Tua and going to Miami? And if anything, he's gotten better as he's gotten older and as he's taken on this new challenge. Sure, he hasn't had the playoff success and he's missed out on the Super Bowls that he could have been part of in Kansas City, but he's still been very, very good, arguably the best in the league at that point. Now for the Chiefs going forward from here. With the injury to Rashee Rice, Patrick Mahomes, his situation that's unfolding in front of him, with the guys that they've lost already. We'll go over that here in just a moment. What this reminds me of, folks, is what Tom Brady had to deal with in his final years in New England. The cupboards were bare. I mean, they were picking up guys that played lacrosse to go play receiver for the Patriots with Tom Brady there. And now you look at this Chiefs situation, they're just going to have to put all their hope, all their trust and faith in Patrick Mahomes to get the most out of what he can with this limited sample size to work with in Kansas City right now. Because remember, Rashee Rice isn't the only injury. You got Marquise Brown with the shoulder injury. He's on IR. He's not expected to be back till January. Clyde Edwards-Helaire, remember him? Yeah, he's on the non-football injury list right now, and there's no signs of him returning anytime soon. Isaiah Pacheco with the lower leg injury. He's on IR. Should still be about 4 to 6 more weeks before he potentially makes his return. And then Rashee Rice, at the time of this recording, the Chiefs are fearing that it could be season-ending for Rashee Rice with that knee injury, a possible torn ACL there. Right now, what the Chiefs and Patrick Mahomes are experiencing is their toughest challenge yet. That's the reality of this situation. Because even the last 2 seasons, when the receiving core wasn't that great, you still had Pacheco to fall back on and had a very good rushing game. Granted, the rushing game's been solid, the last 2 weeks from what we've seen from Steele and P. Ryan and Kareem Hunt, but it's still not what it was with Pacheco. Now you look at this receiving room in Kansas City here with Rice injured. Xavier Worthy is going to have to be more than a gadget player. They're going to need him to be consistent. You're going to need more from Travis Kelce. He's going to need to play like he did against the LA Chargers. Justin Watson, Juju, Sky Moore can't be dropping easy passes like he did last week either. McCole Hardman, we're going to need to see more out of him as well. Do you still believe in this Chiefs offense? Can they get the job done with the way things stand right now? Weigh in, let us know. Type B for believe, D for don't. Chime in, tell me what you think. Subscribe now to the Kansas City Chiefs Report for continuing Kansas City Chiefs coverage all season long. We got you covered. I'm Tyler Jones. We'll see you next time.